This is big. We on the west side. You watching Moebility.t.v.
You know I wake up every day.
Every day.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. I wake up every day and thank God that I'm here. They gave my pops all that time. He been fighting for years. When you lose the closest to you, ain't no fighting them tears. All I had was my mom when I was stuck on the tears. I'll be loyal to you if you give me something that's real. If I can't feed the whole team, I ain't signing a deal. I'm in the underworld with killers, but I'm comfortable here.
What's going on, everybody? It's Moebility.t.v. We're sitting here with a big man. You know what I mean? Go ahead and introduce yourself, brother.
What's happening? This is B.I.G. You know, I'm up out of this town. You know what I'm saying? Seattle, Washington. You know, I grew up on the west side. I'm over here in High Point, you know. I'm over here in one of the icon spots, you know, one of the little stores, you know. If you're from any hood, everybody know you got a corner store, so this is one of them, you know. And we just chopping it up. I wanted you to get a feel, you know, how it is to grow up on the west side, you know, dealing with a town hound, you know. So I'm born and raised in High Point, you know. Me and my niggas, we grew up over here, you know. Right over there, you know, it used to be a Safeway and stuff, and this used to be a welfare office and shit, you know. It was kind of hard and gritty out here, you know, when it came to us growing up here. We grew up, most of us, 90% of us grew up in a single father's home, so, you know, we really didn't have no guidance, you know. Our mothers raised us the best that they could, you know, but we really had to get out here and get it. So, you know, me and my niggas did the best we can do. You know, we started out, everybody had a little hustle in them, you know. That's what I like about my niggas, you know. We always went out and got it, you know, whether if it was cutting grass, you know. You know, all my niggas remember how we used to go back to the golf course and shit. We used to run through there when we was little as kids and shit, and grab the little golf balls, run up and sell them to the people, you know, sell the golf balls back, hit whatever lick we could, you know. But, you know, it was cool, you know, we had fun and shit, you know. The free lunch, the back of the gym, you know, and all my homegirls grew up with me too, you know. When we kicked it, we all kicked it together, you know. We had fun and shit, man. So it really wasn't no sad times and shit. It just kind of got real gritty, you know, just growing up and the hustle and really wanting to live the way we wanted to live, you know. And times changed, you know, when that crack hit and it kind of fucked up our homes and shit like that, you know. It really hit my home hard, you know, because me and my mom, you know what I'm saying, my mom, she got addicted and she got put out on the streets and shit like that. But I was at the age to where I could kind of fend for myself, you know, my siblings couldn't. But, you know, we all grew up in the same era and you didn't want to get caught up in being a smoker, so you hustled and did what you had to do, you know me? You know, I kind of love running the streets and shit, you know, being with my niggas and shit, being out here. And because we was all a part of the same community, you know, the way we glided through this motherfucker, man. But, you know, we wasn't always just hard heads, you know. We was raised, you know, about, you know, with God in our hearts, you know. We was raised to do the right thing, you know. It was a community, don't get me wrong. You know, when you got caught cutting up out here, you know, people that knew your family, they got on your bumper, man. You know, we can go way back, you know, we got old school cats and stuff that you guys don't know about, the youngsters need to know about, you know. Old school cat named Joe Mack, we got Jesse Dennis, you know, we got the McKinneys, everybody knows Miss McKinney. She was the queen bee in this neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? She really showed the hood love and she was always there to support the community doing her thing, man. You know, because she was a real asset to the community, you know, Miss Stovall. Everybody know the Stovalls, you know. She didn't play no games, you know. It's a history, you know. Papa Curry, he was an old school cat, you know. They used to walk around Cycle Lane and stuff. Every time you see him, he was going to get a plate from one of the old ladies. But what made it so funny, he had a plate and a fork in his hand. You know, the brother, like I said, he came with his tools ready to eat, you know. And everybody know Jesse Dennis, you know, he was an old school cat that didn't play no games, you know. He had 2 bodies under his belt and didn't see a day in jail, you know. And just growing up in my household, it was kind of cool and it was kind of wild because my uncles and people that was around me, they didn't hide nothing that they did, you know. I had a situation to where, you know, my uncle at one time, I was young and shit, and I watched my uncle and he was getting down. And my uncle looked at me and he tried to offer it to me, and I was so young at a young age, and I knew it was something fucked up that he did, you know, but it was raw and uncut. And I was like, if my uncle, and I never told my family, and I was like, man, a couple times I seen him where he was dead, he was gone, and they had to bring him back, you feel me? So I know what that life was like, you know? But it was raw and uncut, so I seen a lot of shit, and I was exposed to a lot of shit, you know? But I loved it, you know, as a kid, it was fun, you know. I made some of the right choices to where I didn't fall too deep, But at the same time, you know, I got caught up in the streets and stuff, like a lot of me and my homeboys, and we had to pay for it dearly, you know. You know, the hustling and the sticking and moving, the women and the fast money and the fast life, you know, it can kind of tear you down. So a lot of people, they glorify this shit, man, but it's really not nothing to play with, you know, because it can turn your heart cold, you know. You can get addicted to this, you know, and they're swallowing up our youth. They were swallowing me up, you know. I had to make a change because it messed up my mental when I knew where I was headed. But at the same time, you know, I had to have that same instinct because I know my family needed me. I know my homeboy needed me, you know, so I had to be the best I can be if I'm out here, you know. You got my little cats in the back, but, you know, it's just, you know, just dealing with, you know, being in the streets in Seattle, man. You know, but growing up here in High Point, man, it was one of the livest times in my life because we gave the livest house parties, you know. I mean, when I say we kicked it, and my little dudes turned up. And what I love about High Point, you know, we rocked it from all generations. There was no big me's, little you's, you know. All my guys know to this day, I don't care how young or how old you are, I got the same amount of love for you, man. I don't care if we did this or did that, you know. It's a community, we from the same neighborhood, you know. So we got roots and we experienced a lot of the same things and we lost a lot of the same loved ones, you know. So being out here, this shit ain't no joke. But when I'm out here and I'm out in the point, I live, eat, breathe, and think it, you know?
You know, I wake up every day.
Every day.
And thank God.
Yeah. I wake up every day and thank God that I'm here. They gave my pops all that time, he been fighting for years. When you lose the closest to you, ain't no fighting them tears. All I had was my mom when I was stuck on the tears. I'll be loyal to you if you give me something that's real. If I can't feed the whole team, I ain't signing a deal. I'm in the underworld with killers, but I'm comfortable here. When they love you can't be stopped, man, that's something they feel. I ain't never got a handout, you better ask a nigga. I'm introverted, I ain't even into liking half these niggas.